set that's
Comfortable
done.
right now, but.
Yeah, no, but the point is that like, it should, where it's set at, when it comes on tonight, it should shut off again reasonably quickly. Kind of like what last night was. Last night felt reasonably comfortable.
Last night was fine.
You know, that was it. Anyway.
Cold in the back, I think.
No, it's usually the opposite actually, is that, yeah, this blower right here is, you know, anything in this vicinity is usually the coldest in the room. You know, but Mom's always been somewhere in this vicinity, you know, and she seems to do, you know. Yeah, no, well, so again, the difference is that this is a higher thermostat to the minute, so it's not, it's only gonna kick on if it's above 77, you know, and that's already.
Then it'll kick on, it'll be freezing.
Well, so, but that's the thing, it's like, I can only, there's only two ways to approach it as far as I can tell, until we get to.
Too hot and too cold.
Well, no, I think the answer is really, it just needs, the velocity needs to be lower and lower. I think that's the answer. It's not the overall room itself, it's just that anybody in the direct line of
We
it.
sit here, we freeze.
Yeah, because that's the worst place to sit, you know.
It's freezing, and we can't hear.
Well, that's also, but you know, yeah.
We can't see or hear.
No, but that actually, that is another conversation which I want to look into, which is, you know, used to be, right, you had a hearing loop thing.
Yeah,
Sort of
yeah.
bit. So I want to see if there is a Bluetooth thing, because we have a lot of people with a Bluetooth screen, so just exactly, that if there was a way to just be able to get on it.
Do that also, the census.
Well, no, that can be adjusted, you know, the truth is, like, I should have had my thing ready to go, because the reason why is they're set to us singing.
Hello.
And there's a way to configure it to be set for people speaking, because, you know, in the end, when you have a soft-spoken person, you have to really pump it up, but if you do the same thing with the, it will blow out the speaker. So, that's why, no, that's why we invest, you know, that's why I invested, it's basically, it's an app-based thing, you know, but yesterday, the one thing I will say about it is, it's hard to run hybrid programs that call them. The presentation part is easy, the movie is more, I have to be in too many places. I think 12 in addition. So, you know, when you add them all together, you know, for a program for us on a Thursday night. But that's okay. You know, that's it. Yes, sir. We worked out with Ann. I think we're good. So we just need, yeah.
So, I wanted to tell you that the person who wrote this article about the tentative study of the scientific efficacy of prayer is willing to speak.
Oh, good. I think
Online.
that's fine. We'll do as we did. We just be able to TV in. That's great.
Yeah.
Great.
So he did a study,
Yes,
$2.5 million grant from the Templeton Foundation. I'm not making this up. You better ask for more. I'll tell you something apropos.
All right. Just gonna thanks already. All right. Good. I think that's kind of it. You know, if you need water or anything like that, or you got, I don't know. Well prepared. Very well prepared. Trying to be. One thing I love about the Kevin God is asking for its all. Yeah. If in the end you start using
Ethics. And this is his way
that's
of
the thing
making
that you can
good
just step on it so that when you're playing guitar, you can just go like this. Well, that's good. It seems like for him in particular, that was super helpful. So you have to be like, little fidgety. I think my guess is there's like cheap versions of it and there's yeah. No, that's good to know. Yeah, that's good to know.
They could have given us a little more than next summer. Hello, how are you? All right. Yeah, I thought about it, you know. It's heartbreaking. It's gonna take a while. Yeah. She got a deal. Yeah. So she and my wife went to restorative yoga.
Oh, that's a good idea. I used to do that. Where did you do that?
Can I dance it?
I think it's all right here.
What is it? Restorative yoga. Oh, restorative. Yeah, Andy went with my daughter, the one who, had the breakup. Yeah, well, she's lucky because she has you and a wonderful support system. She does, and her family, and she actually came out last night with us to be at her niece's graduation ceremony this morning. So that's when, but she won't go with the baby meeting back in Westchester on Sunday. That's a one go to that. My son's daughter. every 4 weeks. This little 4-pounder, and the head was the size of a baseball. But now, she's like a real baby.
Oh, that's good.
But they felt, it's a risk reward. Is the risk of getting an infection worse than the risk of premature birth? So they decided within 4 weeks.
It's pretty remarkable that they can do that. Modern medicine.
She was only in the NICU for like 10 days.
So you should have great grandchildren like we do.
I don't know if I'm going that long. Maybe you. I mean, my kids will get started. My oldest is 6, my grandson. So I don't know.
Well, so you got a reason to stay alive. That's the way to
I
live.
got a lot of reasons to stay alive.
So my granddaughter's baby is 5 months, and she wants 1.5 years, 18 months spacing. So she's got 1 more month to go.
You know what? The man plans to do a woman plans.
The man plans that God laughs. It's great to see you looking well. No, I look great. I look great.
Not enough to satisfy my wife. So we complained. There were, I don't know, 35 to 40 people there. I want more people. You know, I had a couple of lawyers flew in from Kentucky, and another woman, professor.
That's a big turnout for this week. Yeah, when I speak, 5 people show up.
When I speak, I get hundreds here.
You have a captive
I know. Well, she should, the place seems well. There's 40 people who get started from. And they were happy because they're passionate about what they do. And just want to spread the word. All they do is pay their expenses. They're happy. They're very passionate about what they do.
We get all these authors, these famous authors, authors on Eastern Library. We never think of them.
They'll promote their books. Yeah. I have a friend who just wrote a book. You know, writing the book is only half the job. After you write it, you have to then go with the editor back and forth, and then after that, in the rewrites, then you gotta finish it, and then you gotta go market it, and you gotta go.
I wrote 6 books, and one of my books is a bestseller.
So you know what it's
I know what it's like. Simon & Schuster spent a huge amount of money to buy my book and then therefore they had to market the hell out of the book to protect the huge investment and the advance they gave. So I was famous for about 10 minutes on the Tonight Show and the Today Show. My parents did it to see me famous, and then they died.
Still, it's a lot of work. My friend, he's got a, you know, now he's got a gun with the editor. Now she's got to go, you know, promote it.
What kind of book is it?
It's fiction. It's medical fiction.
Oh, is he a physician?
Yes, he retired. He's young. And,
A lot of people write books.
I want to write a book. I spent a year writing this book.
Yeah.
You sit down for every morning, 4 or 5 hours. And write.
That's what I do.
Did I take your CD?
But what it does to the body, that's really not the worst thing.
And I never.
Seriously, I mean, it's like, you know, you immediately feel it, but before there was that shit in your head, it's almost like a lot of coughing and not
Question, how long?
well, so that's when it gets up. It's the thing that determines.
You don't want to
No, exactly, and I think that's the place where a professional is probably gonna be able to do it better, but we can mess around with it, you can adjust all of those things. It's usually 2 degrees, right, so you know, which I think in most cases for some place probably does work, but it might need to be 3, you know, so it's, because the reality is that the moment we put human beings into a room, the temperature goes up, you know.
Trying to After the 1 year, they say, all right, I'm done, you know, I'm not gonna have a charge if I want to.
That would not be a good situation, so, yeah.
Last year, shared about
Oh my God, we're fighting around about now. Have you read about the roundabout? The Gemini? Oh my God.
It would have you not completely for that work,
Even
otherwise
if
it would
it
purposely
doesn't
have
help,
a, you know.
that's-
No, but I think like, for example, a single thing would be something that. This is a, you know, this actually, when I first got here,
my body, my choice.
when Leon was doing the course that was upset, he would teach from LA to this one, he taught from old school, and so just, and the tables were arranged more like a thing style. Somebody said, we push the tables out, we just all sit at the same table. And I said, yes, I think we can do that, that makes perfect sense, you know? But it's one of those funny things where like, until you do it, you never know. Okie dokie. That's good. Let me just go make sure our Zoom situation is working as planned.
Oh, that's Leo.
He's like always present. Yeah. I love, yeah, I know the feeling, Ann. I know the feeling. Very much. All right. Good Shabbos, everyone. I'd like to all wish a very warm Shabbat Shalom to our new student cantor, Will Brockman. Everybody, Shabbat Shalom to Will. See, you got applause before you even done anything. That's the way I like it. No, we are very excited, Will, and we've been very excited to welcome you and to meet all of these wonderful people and for them to get to meet you. And as I explained, and I will just remind everybody, one of the great joys of certainly my experience as a rabbi, but I think one of the great privileges of this temple for a very long time has been our responsibility, our really our privilege to raise up the next generation in our own way of cantors. And, you know, in the history, again, predating myself by a long margin, we've got quite a wonderful list, and each one of them, right, and I'm actually, John and Suzanne walking in, thanks to our HUC connections here over the years, we get the best of them, and Will is that, and it's in his neshama as much as it is in his voice. So we're gonna, you know, obviously have to ease in a little bit here. I think we had about all of 15 minutes of rehearsal time, but I think you'll hear very quickly that he's our kind of voice for sure. And, you know, Will's gonna also share a little bit about himself, about his experience, a little bit about what he's hoping for, you know, coming in here. And most of our melodies will start out at least as some familiar ones. There might be a few ones that are a little bit new. But all of these things are really, again, a total privilege and a total joy. So, Will, I'm just very excited to share this bima with you and share this experience with you. And I hope very much you will feel the love and you know, connection that exists here and always does. And the last caveat is to say, you know, a student is an important word in this, right? Student means that we're learning, okay? And we're making mistakes. And your rabbi who is 10 years in makes those mistakes probably at least once a week, okay? It's not about that, right? It's about again, growth and always looking for opportunities. And I know that there's always a first moment whenever we have a new cantor where at the Oneg, you get bum rushed by people who want a particular melody for one thing or the other. Just know, we'll get there, but we got to, baby steps here and there. So with all of that said, before we go any further, tonight, and we'll talk a little bit more later, our Oneg is sponsored by our wonderful Roberta Kyle. And we're very thankful that Jane, her daughter, is there with her tonight. And this is in really double memory of Donald, your wonderful husband, and of course your mother, Edith, as well. And we're hoping that you and Jane would come up and honor us by lighting and blessing our Shabbat candles this evening. So if you guys want to come up, I'll do the lighting piece. We're on page 120. Page 120. Do you need books or do you? Okay. See? He's right on it already. Very impressed, of course. Amen. Thank you very much. Okay. And as Roberta and Jane find their way to their seats, we're going to open with a opening song, and that opening song is on page 653. It's Dodi Li, which is just a little bit down from the very top of the page. So I think if you know it, sing along with the cantor, and if not, you'll learn it as we go. Again, 653.
Dodi li vani lo haroe bashoshanim Dodi li mizotola min hamidbar mizotola min hamidbar Dodi li vani lo haroe bashoshanim Dodi li.
Not bad, eh? Not bad. All right, so we're going to turn now to page 130, and we'll begin Kabbalat Shabbat together. Lechu Neranana, again, page 130.
Lechu neranena l'Adonai, nariya litzor ishenu, nekadma fanav betoda, bizmirot nariya lo.
And we'll turn now to page 131, Shiru Ladonai, just towards the top of the page in Hebrew. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru Meyom Leyom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru Meyom Leyom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru Meyom Leyom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru Meyom Leyom Yeshuato. We'll turn now to Or Zarua on page 132, just at the very bottom of the page. Or Zarua lahatzadik, uleishrei lesimcha. Or Zarua lahatzadik, uleishrei lesimcha. Simechu
tzadikim ba'Adonai ve'hodu lezecher kodsho. Simechu tzadikim ba'Adonai ve'hodu lezecher kodsho.
We'll turn now to page 134, at the very top of the page, Zamru Adonai.
Zamru Adonai bechinor, bechinor vekol zimra, bechatzotzrot vekol shofar. Haru lifnei hamelech Adonai, Yiram hayamum lo, tevel veyoshveva, neharot imcha uchaf yachad, harim yiranenu, lifnei Adonai kiva, lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel betzedek, ve'amim b'mesharim, yiram hayamum lo, tevel ve'yoshveva, neharot imcha uchaf yachad, harim yiranenu.
We're now on page 135, Romamu, which is the last Hebrew paragraph, just in the middle of the page.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho.
We'll turn now to page 136, Mizmor LeDavid, beginning at the top of the page.
Mizmor LeDavid, Avul Adonai b'nei Elim, Avul Adonai kavod va'oz, Avul Adonai kevod shemo, Ishtachavu l'Adonai be'adrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, El hakavod hirim, Adonai, Adonai, amayim rabim, Adonai, Adonai, amayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai be'adar, Kol Adonai shover harazim, Vayishaber Adonai et arzei halvanon, Vayakidem kemo egel, Levanon ve'Siryon, kemo ben re'emim, kemo ben re'emim. Kol Adonai chotzev laotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai echolel ayalot, Vayechesov ye'arot, Uvechalo kulo merkavod, kulo merkavod. kavod. Kulo, kulo, kulo mer kavod. Adonai lamabu yashav, vayeshev Adonai melech leolam. Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. We'll turn now to L'chadodi on page 138. A reminder, we'll do the first, second, fifth, and ninth paragraphs, and for the final paragraph, we'll rise if we're in the room and face towards the doors we walked through just before. Again, page 138.
Yalalai lechadodi, yalalai likrot kala, yalalai penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekabela, yalalai lechadodi, yalalai likrot kala, yalalai penei Shabbat. Penei Shabbat nekabela, Shamor vezachor, b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad, Ushemo echad, Leshem hu tiferet velitila. Yalalai, yalalai lechadodi, yalalai likrat kala, yalalai penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshava techila. Yalalai lechadodi, yalalai likrat kala, yalalai penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, Kiva orech kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai, alaich nigla. Yalalai lechadodi, yalalai likrat kala, yalalai penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekabela. Boi veshalom, ateret bala. Gam besimcha ufzola toch emunei am segula boichala Yalalai likrat kala, yalalai penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekabela Yalalalai lecha dodi Yalalalai likrat kala Yalalalai penei Shabbat Penei Shabbat nekabela.
Please be seated. We're now on page 140, Tzadik Katamar, which is just where the Hebrew indents in the middle of the page.
Tzadik Katamar yifrach keres balvanon yiskeh shetulim bevet Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvun beseva deshenim verananim iyu lehagid ki ashar Adonai tzuri velo avlatabo.
We'll now rise in body or in spirit for the Chatzi Kaddish on page 144 and remain standing for the Baruch Hu on the next page. Yitkadal vehitkadash shemei Rabbah Be'alma divra chirutei be'amlich malchutei B'chayechon uvyomechon Uvchayei dechol Beit Yisrael Bagala Uvizman kariv veimeru Amen Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach Le'alam le'almei almaya Yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach V'yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalam Shemei dekudsha richu Le'la min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata b'nechemata Damiran be'alma Beimeru. Amen. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Please be seated. Let's read together now on the bottom of page 149. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Umahavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom v'laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Amari v'rahavim. We'll read now on the top of page 151 together. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Ki ehem chayinu ve'orech yameinu ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. Page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Join us on page 154 at the very top of the page. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. Let's read together on the top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. As we turn to Micha Mocha, page 158.
Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar bakodesh, norati lo osefele, osefele. Malchutcha ra'u vanecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, malchutcha ra'u vanecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, zezeli anu ve'ameru Adonai imloch leolam leolam va'ed. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, norati lo osefele, osefele. V'ne'amar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, ugalom yad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael.
Amen. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Hashkivenu is on the top of page 160. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Ushmor tzeiteinu uvoeinu lechaim ulshalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Yerushalayim. We'll turn now to Vishamer on the top of page 162.
Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olai dai dai beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti leolam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim vet haaretz uvayom hashevi'i shavat vayinafash uvayom hashevi'i shavat vayinafash.
I invite us now to rise in body or spirit as we begin the Amidah together on page 164 and then continue silently from there. As always, please go at your own pace, and when you're finished at the end, if you're still standing, you may be seated. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufiyahi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
I have to tell you how good he makes me look in these situations, because there were several things I forgot to tell him that we do just slightly in a wrinkle, and you picked it up immediately, which is like very impressive. Good start. So we're going to turn now to page 371 as we offer our Mishaberach for this evening. We'll first again think of those in our community and connect it to our community who we know are in need of that healing tonight. Tonight we're thinking of Lisa Wartor, Dan Brown, Andrew Adler, Toby Spitz, Leah Bat Avraham Vesara, Adam Lubo, Rachel Bat Marsha, Sue Wartor, Abigail Blum, Betsy Tepper, Michael Klinghoffer, Ame and Warren Cass, Rivka Bat Rachel, Lorraine Danis, David Dowling, Sivya Devora Bat Francis, Muriel Hirsch, Michelle Sawicki, Francis Kirschman, Shelley Newmark, Diane Axelrod, Gabriella Spicer, David Kyle Klopman, Lorraine Davis, Kim Birnbaum, Deborah Block-Kroll, Sylvia Orn, Rachel Bat Ora, Josephine Getling, Lisa Levitin, Peretz Ben Shlomo, Israel Ben Yitzchak, and Shira Bat Eti. In addition to those names that I just shared, if you'd like to share additional names, we'll start on this side of the room and work towards the back, and this side of the room, and if you have names to share, just raise a hand, we'll make sure that we don't miss anybody.
Paul Greenfield, Dave Roberts, and Tom Queenstein.
Jeffrey Miller.
Johanna Bat Shmuel Bialiva.
Audrey Timpasky, John Graham, Diane Schwartz, Lauren Kinney, Joe Hare, Mario, Penny Rodman, Julia, Frank Ryan, Judy Litton, Warren, John Clutch, Marie, Raka, and Maureen Cook. Lawrence and Stacy
Margaret, go ahead. Of course, we invite those watching at home, if you have additional names to share, and Cantor, if there's anyone that you'd like to add. We'll join together in the Mishaberach on the middle of page 371.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor Abracha Imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor Habracha Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We now offer our prayer for Israel in time of war. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, you know that the Jewish people are one nation with one heart, and now that heart is broken. O healer of broken hearts, binder of their wounds, be with our brothers and sisters who have been taken captive, and with the families of the victims. Watch over the hostages, break their bonds, and bring them out from darkness to light. Proclaim release to the captives, liberation to the imprisoned. Comfort the families, bring them under the shelter of your wings. Bring complete healing of body and spirit to all of the wounded, bind up our wounds, and grant us healing. Tzur Yisrael v'goalo, rock and redeemer of the people Israel. Bless the state of Israel, the initial manifestation of our redemption. Shield it with your care, spread over it your shelter of peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth. Grace them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend us, crown their efforts with victory. Bless the land with peace, its inhabitants with lasting joy. Shomer Yisrael, guardian of Israel. Strengthen and bless the defenders of Israel who stand guard on the land, in the air, and on the sea. May we see the promise of the psalmist realized. You turned my mourning into dancing, my sackcloth into robes of joy. God, protect, preserve, and restore peace and well-being to Israel, your people, and together we say,
Amen.
Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
And I know I gave you a whole thing about how we're going to start off really slow and we're going to, work will in slowly to things. Clearly, that part is not necessary. It sounds like we've been doing this for a while, and that is a testament to you entirely, Will. And we're really excited to have you here, and we're really excited to hear a little bit from you as a point of introduction, but that point is really just the jumping off point. You'll get to know everybody, and I'll say, and remind everybody at the Onik, Will not likely remember any of your names, even if he's met you already. It will take a few weeks, don't worry. Keep saying your names over and over again, it helps. Okay, I'm still 10 years in, right? I still have my moments as it goes. But, Will, for now, the bima is yours. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you so much to everyone for your warm welcome. It's really been so lovely, and I'm very excited to be here and to serve as your cantorial intern. To share just a tiny bit about myself, I grew up in suburban New Jersey, and in my previous life, before cantorial school, I worked as an actor. I earned my bachelor's from NYU in 2018, and I worked professionally for about 2.5 years until the pandemic, in which I pivoted careers and ended up teaching theater and choir at my old high school. While I was there, I fell in love with the art of education, and I believed at the time that I wanted to perhaps teach university or do something in the world of higher education. So I went on to pursue an MA in performance studies at the University of Toronto. And during my time living in Toronto, I found that I didn't have the same passion for creating theater that I once did. And still I thought to myself, I've invested so much time and so many years of study into this profession, and I went ahead while I was in my MA and began applying to PhD programs. And during the middle of my PhD applications, I went to Israel for the first time in my life in December of 2022 on a birthright trip. And it was only in being about 5,000 miles away from home that I could finally see my life so much more clearly. I realized how much Judaism meant to me, how much Jewish community meant to me, and all of a sudden it struck me like a lightning bolt that there was a job that existed where I didn't have to give up any parts of myself. I still got to engage in music and the arts. I could engage in education, and I could also engage my spiritual self in the job of a cantor. So I returned back to Toronto in January of 2023, and with the help of my cantor from Toronto, Cantor David Rosen, I began to apply to HUC's cantorial school, and I scrapped my plans for a PhD. Thankfully, the bet paid off, and I was accepted to HUC, and in a whirlwind of a few short weeks in the spring of 2023, I had an El Al flight, an Israeli visa, an apartment in Jerusalem, and a life that looked very, very different from the one that I had previously envisaged for myself. Those summer months in Israel, however, now feel like a lifetime ago. On a sunny Shabbat morning in the beginning of October, I and everyone else in Israel saw the country change. But not only for the worse, sometimes for the better. After the events of that day, the WhatsApp groups in which I was a part that once gave alerts on the next protest against the judicial reforms turned into command centers to address any need that you could possibly imagine, from providing food, clothing, or childcare to the displaced families from the north and from the south, to providing assistance for the families of the hostages, any need, big or small, that you could possibly imagine. The Israeli public answered the call, and if anything, often answered the need so quickly that within an hour there would be a message back saying the need had already been met. It was an immense privilege to be in Israel during this difficult year, to be able to help in whatever way I could, from picking pomegranates on a kibbutz, packing boxes of essential toiletries and non-perishables for Eritrean refugee families, lighting Chanukiot for the hostages, who could not light for themselves in the Cardo in Jerusalem. And as the weeks and months dragged on, a very not normal reality began to feel normal. And this is the life that our Israeli brothers and sisters are still living with every day, living with the uncertainty of what the next day might bring, but living with a resilient spirit and an unwavering dedication to their country and to each other. Towards the end of this year, one of my teachers, Rabbi Debbie Shua Chaim, asked me to think of a text that I wanted to carry with me as I left Israel and returned to the United States. I spent some time leafing through the book of Psalms that I often carry with me. And even though a great deal of the text felt meaningful and important, there was nothing that struck me as mine to take home. And then I came to Psalm 122 and read the following famous verses. Shalu shalom Yerushalayim, Yishaleu ohovaich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you be at peace. Yi shalom b'chayelech shalva b'armenotaich. May there be well-being within your ramparts, peace in your citadels. And I sat with these verses for several weeks because I felt like they encapsulated what I learned most of all during my year in Israel. What I learned more than anything, more than Nusach, more than Mishnah, even more than Hebrew. What I learned during my year in Israel was how to pray for peace. For now, after living in Israel through one of the darkest and most difficult years of her history, praying for peace no longer feels rote. It no longer feels like a nice abstract idea that I should care about, but just that, an abstract idea. Peace, for me, is now a tangible desire, want, and need that I have for the land that I and so many of us hold so dear to our hearts. And it was actually only in writing this text for tonight that I realized that the verse that I really wanted to carry with me wasn't actually the two verses from Psalm 122 I previously read, but was actually the verse immediately following. Leman achai v're'ai, adabra na shalom bach. For the sake of my kin and my friends, I pray for your well-being. For those that live in Israel are a part of me and are a part of us. And it is for them and all of the inhabitants of that land who seek peace that I pray. May peace come speedily and in our days. Shabbat shalom.
And also, I don't get applause from sermons and stuff. I'm not fishing for it either. I'm just starting to think maybe some of the high holiday sermons might go to you, my friend. That's fantastic. And real, thank you for coming immediately and sharing of yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, that
of course.
to me is one of the most important things about this community is that for it to work, we have to be one, and we have to be able to be vulnerable and to share and to bring the experience that you just had in your last year and to articulate it in the way that you just did is remarkable. Okay, so I don't want to, blow up your head too much on the first day, but I believe in honesty, and I believe honestly that this is going to be a wonderful experience for us, and I hope very much for you as well. And I want to offer you, just as the beginning, to begin with blessing, our priestly blessing, our oldest blessing, our blessing that contains, again, this dream, this aspiration, this goal of peace. And I want to invite all of you and those that are watching at home, I want you to think again, what your blessing, your hopes are for Will in, we hope, the years to come here at the temple, so that as we give this blessing, we give it in its ancient form, but we also give it in its current form, in its present form, with only love and blessing for you. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and guard you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God's grace shine down upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you remember, Will, that as you said, peace is a wonderful concept, a big idea, a thing that oftentimes feels very distant and far away. But when you connect it to your heart, when you connect it to our tradition, and ultimately when you connect it to the work of your own hands and that beautiful voice that you have been gifted with, you make peace a real thing. And we thank you for bringing that to us on this first moment with us, and we hope for many more. So with that, we're a hugging kind of place. Very happy. Just fantastic. All right, so we're going to turn now to mark the Omer for our last time before the holiday of Shavuot, which we will celebrate Tuesday night and into Wednesday. I'll invite us all to rise and turn to page 570, 570. And we'll join together at the very top of the page. Hineni muchan u'mezuman lekayem mitzvat aseh shel sfirat ha'omer. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Hayom shisha v'arba'im yom shehem shisha shavuot v'arba'im yamim la'omer. Today is 46 days, which is 6 weeks and 4 days of the Omer. So we'll remain standing now as we turn to page 586 at the very bottom of the page. Aleinu l'shabech. Aleinu l'shabech l'adon hakol, latet kedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamachim hakadosh baruch hu. Page 591. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. I'll ask those in mourning, those observing yahrzeit, to please remain standing. Everyone else may be seated at this time. We think first of those who have passed in our community in recent months: Isabel Becker, Julian Busgang, Deborah Fogarty, Richard Gambino, Jerry Goldsmith, Lita Goldsmith, Dr. Sam Gould, Rita Hertzfeld, Jesse Hirsch, Barbara Kushner, Laura Labatten, Sean Leibowitz, Robert Lykoff, Samuel Moskowitz, Jeffrey Nagelberg, James Pappas, Danielle Lisa Rigg, Janice Tucker Sambol, Harlan Spitz, Charles Spiropoulos, Susan Wolfson, Fania Verrett, Alan Stephen Weinstein, and Ronald Weller. We also marked the yahrzeit that occurred during the last week for Sylvia Bohm, Jack Center, Charles Cohen, Tilly Danoff, Harry Friedman, Molly Goldstein, Anna Harris, Libby Kamenkow, Samuel Koffler, Saul Kohlbrenner, Peter Kump, Beatrice Kunkin, Donald Kyle, Bessie Leonard, Arlene Weinberg Mandelbaum, Bruce Norton, Gerald Ostro, Morris Raff, Solomon Raff, Louis Riskin, Richard Rube, William Schwartz, Sarah Simon, Jeffrey Spanier, Jack Stein, Sophie Tatkan, Erwin Weinstein, Morris Weinstein, Lila Woloshin, and Herman Zauber. In addition to those names that I just shared, is anyone saying Kaddish for anyone we did not mention? Would you like to mention their names? Alan? And of course, those that are watching at home, if you want to add the names of your loved ones as well, ask the mourners to join with me on 598, and if it's your custom to rise alongside them, you may do so at this time. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra chirutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael v'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach la'alam u'li'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Zichronam livracha, may every one of their memories be for a blessing. Please be seated. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Again, big yasher koach to Will. Really, really like amazing. I mean, again, second-year student, we assume that it's going to take a little bit longer, but, I'm going to stop saying that entirely. We're very excited. And again, you got your first taste. We'll come back tomorrow morning for services beginning at 10 o'clock. You can join us here at the temple, or you can, of course, join us online. And, of course, we will also have our Torah study following at 12 o'clock. Reminder, this Sunday at 2 o'clock, our Rosh Chodesh group will be meeting here at the temple. Ellen, yes? Yes? Okay, 2 o'clock here at the temple. Also a reminder, Tuesday, June 11th from 5:30 to 7 is the next of Rabbi Alan Levin's virtual bereavement group. So again, you can join that group at any time if you've lost anyone in recent times or in years past. It's a wonderful opportunity for some support, especially from a great teacher, our friend Rabbi Alan Levin. Just a reminder again, though, that is required for registration. A few other important things coming up this week. As I mentioned, the holiday of Shavuot. This year, we're really grateful, actually, that we can host for the first time in a really long time. So our friends from Gesher, from the Bridge Shul, and our friends from the Jewish Center of the Hamptons in East Hampton will be joining us. Rabbi Franklin, Cantor Stein, Rabbi Urbach, myself. It's still a little bit early to get Will involved in that. Next year, we'll bring him out for Shavuos. But you can join us here. Our Mariv service, which is a brief service, will be at 7:15 to 7:30. And then our Tikkun Leil Shavuot, our opportunity to learn from each of our various clergy peoples and perspectives. So we'll be a little bit here in the sanctuary, a little bit next door. We'll have some cheesecake, we'll have some coffee, some tea. Really great opportunity for learning. We hope that you'll join us. Just pay attention to an email that's going to come a little bit later. I think we're going to switch to Zoom for making that the virtual piece of that work. So we'll send out a Zoom link for those that want to join us virtually. But of course, if you're in the neighborhood and you can join us here, that's always a wonderful thing to see you. Also a reminder that services the next morning, Wednesday, June 12th, will begin at 10 o'clock here at the temple, and of course online as well. That service, as a reminder, includes the service of Yizkor, the service of remembrance. You're welcome to join us for any or all of that. Again, that will be Wednesday. Also a reminder, Sunday, June 23rd, the next edition of Ruth Joseph's book group will be meeting at 11 o'clock here at the temple as well. And we have a few other important things that are coming up in June, one of which, and I forget what date did we settle on, Anne? June 26th, our next installment of our Science and Religion conversation, and I'm giving you a very personally and that's what I'm looking for, intentional, provocative title. Okay, is there such a thing as kosher pork? I'm not going to tell you the answer yet, or you can make your guesses. It will be a discussion about some of the innovations in particular, laboratory-grown meat, or meat that is made from, various kinds of natural proteins, and a little bit of their halachic implications, right? What does it mean from a Jewish law standpoint? How do we understand those things, especially when they push certain envelopes that I mentioned? A little bit of the science of it, and then we're going to be really grateful to have Ann Silver with us again to understand, how all of this fits into the modern understanding of our diet and what it is that we put into our bodies and what the effect may or may not be, and some of the ethics around that, some of the considerations both for the individual and communally. And this will be a continuation, again, of one of our great programs here. So Steve and Celia, I want to thank you in the front row for being the leaders of that charge. Lots of great opportunities to learn there as well. And as I said, lots of opportunity to get to know Will next door, the Oneg. Be kind, okay? Remind him your names. Give him a little bit of space to breathe and to eat. And speaking of eating, again, our gratitude to the Kyle family, to Roberta, who we adore. Thank you for, again, in memory of loved ones, to share this experience with your community, to feed us and to give us the things that this Oneg will give us. It's everything. So we really thank you. And Jane, it's great to have you here next to your mom. That's always a wonderful thing to see. I think I've got most of the... yes, Rona. Where's Rona? Rona's here. Rona's got something to tell everybody. Well, we can take a little bit of a break for a second. And, don't worry, this is not a high holiday sermon. Don't worry. It's definitely not that. But, yeah. Although, Rona, I think... I think a sermon from you would actually be a great thing. Here, come over here. It's a little bit more. We'll adjust down. Okay. Rona, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'd like to welcome Will. We're happy to have you. Your voice was beautiful. And everybody here, this is a little plug for our journal. I'm here to talk about it, the Tribute Journal. Is there anybody here who doesn't know Neil Fagan? Would you raise your hand? Okay, well, two.
Yeah,
you know him.
You're getting to know him. Don't.
He's the rabbi. He's the president emeritus. Right, that's Neil Fagan. All right, so our tribute journal will be celebrating his contributions for 26 years, I think. Andrea said his dedication and hard work in shaping the temple and what it is today. It's important to honor Neil's legacy by placing an ad in the journal. The journal is more than just pages in a book, but a collective expression of gratitude from the community to Neil. It will celebrate Neil's contribution for generations to come. So how you can donate. All right, you can send your message if you get the flyer outside. It's this flyer. You can send your message to TAI Journal Ad at Outlook.com by June 23rd, or sending in the RSVP card, which you got in the mail, hopefully. Everybody got this. And on the back, it says a tribute message to Neil, and I can guarantee you he's going to read every one of them. So make sure you send them in, because today we got 6 written pages from Neil, and he's in Alaska, saying, please call this one, this one, this one, this one. And we were looking at this and saying, oh my God, we have to call all these people we don't even know. Some of them would just name Buddy. Who's Buddy, you know? I mean, or you can call Roger Matloff directly, and he gave me permission to give you his cell phone number, which I will be happy to repeat here and in the Oneg if you need it, 973-650-7777. He will take the ad on the phone, and you could just tell them what you want. You could take a quarter of a page ad, a half a page ad, a full page, and a platinum, and you could say anything you'd like to Neil. All right? But be nice. As the rabbi says, be nice. So, and to those of you who have donated already to the journal ad, to honor Neil, thank you so much for your generosity and your support, because it is a donation to the temple. Together we can show Neil how much his vision and leadership has meant to us. Please contribute to the journal, not just as donors, but as our temple family that has grown stronger and more vibrant. Thanks to Neil's leadership and guidance, and let's make this tribute journal truly special for Neil. So thank you. Yeah.
On the top part it said donation, and then on the bottom is donation. So what's the difference between that donation and
This is, you can give anything you like for the cocktail party. Right, you can donate anything. But if you give to the journal page, there are designated amounts of money. Like the quarter of a page is 180, a half a page is 360, a full page is 720, and a platinum is 1,800. That's separate from the cocktail party. Anything you want to donate for the cocktail party will be appreciated.
Okay, when is the journal being presented to Neil? In other words, when's the cocktail party?
It's June 30th. All right, so you have till the 23rd to get your journal ad in. All right? Right. So these are all, and I believe he will read every one of those comments.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Without
So,
a doubt, Rona. That was
thank
great.
you.
Thank you very much. I think we have to be a little careful about that statement about whatever you want to say to Neil. I think that's the only. Although, to be honest with you, he'd probably appreciate those more than anything. You know, I had a dream years ago when Neil was just a little bit younger that we would have a dunk tank like they have in the carnival, and we'd raise $100,000 just from that. But, you know, in any case, thank you, Rona. Thank you to our fundraising committee. We're going to have a wonderful time. And again, if you can't join us, you can still find a way again to leave Neil a wonderful message. I'm sure he will very much appreciate it. So, Cantor, I think we're going to return to the beginning for our closing song tonight. Why don't you lead us off, and then we'll do Kiddush and Motzi.
Page 653, Dodie Lee, if you want to join in. 653. Dodie Lee vanilo haroe bashoshanim Dodie Lee mizotola min hamidbar mizotola במדבר, דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים, דודי לי.
We'll rise for Kiddush, page 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam mohorei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techilam lemikrae kodesh Zecher letziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, inchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Chaim.
Chaim.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Let's go next door. Thank you again, Roberta, for sponsoring our oneg. How's it going, Will? Man, that's a hell of a debut. Well, really amazing. Well, really, really amazing. This is going to be fun. I'm excited to be here. Really awesome. Tomorrow, same time. It's always like cadence things. Small things, but they're just phenomenal. Whoop, sorry. This beamer's a little tricky. It's got some challenge. I owe you a call, man. Yeah, John, this is very tricky. So, as I was mentioning our HUC connection, so John and Suzanne is already next door. So, when you get down to the college, I imagine you'll see a lot more. Yeah.
We gotta open the doors, say how good his voice is, fill the house.
I'll tell you what, let's bring him to the club.
Friday night. There's a dinner tonight. There's a dinner at the club.
One of these days we'll get a dispensation for the renovation.
No, it's not Chad Michael. I grew up. We got a discussion later. This place has a whole history of all the famous student campers. Yeah, this is a serious opportunity. We're pleased to have you. Very happy to be here.
Yeah, great voice. Thank you. I love the fact that you did the harmony, like central singing.
They think about me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't